Oh, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to Tokimotive. Alright, so here we are on another one of those common 31 problems. Door, lift, and then lift the lock. Nothing. I'm sure a lot of people will have had this issue where you've got to hold the door lock up and pull the door handle at the same time to get the door to actually open. If you don't get onto that quick, you're going to have the same problem that I have, where you can't get the door open, and the only way to get the door open is to pop the door card off, get in there and manually open the latch. Because there's little nylon bushings in there, and they flog out, and once they've flogged out to a certain point, the door gets hard to open, and then it just doesn't. And it sucks. So you got to Dukes of Hazzard in and out the door all the time, which is not exactly ideal. You can see the Sylvia is going down the rabbit hole. Yeah, I'm rebuilding that whole thing and cutting out more. So I've kind of lost motivation for this weekend. But I do need to fix that door. Woo! Got the door card off. That was a freaking mission. It's harder when you got bucket seats because they take up more room sideways. But it is doable to get it off. You just got to undo everything. Pop it up a bit. Slide it back towards the B-pillar. Popping off that B-pillar trim's pretty important, which you can do in the car. Front door shut. Easy. Lift, shuffle, lift, shuffle, lift, shuffle. And then you got to try and get it past the dash without breaking it. But it's doable. I'm going to try and do this one-handed to show yous. Got to get a screwdriver in, put it on this bottom corner, and just pop it up. And then you can get your door open. Ah, freedom. Removing the doors, the latch is pretty simple. Just got 3 bolts in the outside here. And then little bits like this. That just flicks down and pops out. Should just be able to pop that out. And you've got one just there on the external door lock that you got to pop off. That one there with the yellow on it, it's just a rod that slots down through the mechanism. See that little bit just kind of flopping around in there? That's what fails. There's meant to be a nylon bush on that. That is going to, that little bit that you push up on to get the door to actually unlock, and it makes it flop around. And then this little slider here for your door lock and your hinges can no longer engage that all the time. Which is why when it starts to fail, you can sort of play with the lock and the handle, and you hold the tension and it'll pop open. And then that bush finally finishes disintegrating, the little nylon bush that's no longer there in that one at all. And the whole setup goes floppy, and then eventually it just slots out the way and won't pop back. I try and make something to sit in there as another bush, hopefully something a little bit more durable, and hopefully it works flawlessly, takes all the play out of that mechanism there, and then I can rejuvenate these and actually have reliable door locks, and hopefully help you guys out as well, because I guarantee 31 people have had this exact problem. If we can start fixing these things rather than, yep, throw her in the bin, it's going to be a lot more of them still there, and it's not going to be everyone chasing a door lock mechanism. But what I'm thinking to get this to work is I'm going to shave down this socket on the outside. Seems like it's about the right size diameter inside. Drill that out so it sits nice and round, because this is a similar size to what the pin is. I think the pin's a 7.5. Give room for grease. Cool steel, very hard. Everything's sort of shut, so I kind of can't really get any sort of tube or bush of the same size. Now, this is hot, I'm just going to do that. Got to manipulate that, sit sort of in the middle. No, I need to take a bit more off the outer edge of that. So I'm going to pop over to the bench grinder, shave a little more off, and and we'll see how it goes. Here's where I'm at. I'm going with a fresher lock. This one only just had the bushing disintegrate, so all this, the pin that runs through here isn't flogged out yet as much. Twist there, it snaps back. If you push this, your new bushing, in too far, like so, and then you lock it, and then you spin your little mechanism, see how it gets stuck? It's because this is putting pressure on the actual latch itself. So if I press that up, I can still flick it out manually, but that's going to make your door hard to open. So if I back that out so it's only just sitting the depth of that metal, enough to hold that pin in place, lock it, and then turn the mechanism, it snaps open fully. I cut that a bit too far. Trying to precisely cut down the socket so it had a bevel hasn't worked, but this is what I've come up with so far. It's a 7mm socket, outside shaved, drilled down the middle with a 7.5mm bit. This will work for the sizing, I'm sure, but it's just whether it's going to push too far in and cause this mechanism to get a bit sticky. I'm going to get some grease on that so that if it doesn't want to come back out after I put it in, it's not the end of the world, because being metal on metal, I'm going to want to grease that inside. This definitely isn't going to flog out like a plastic bushing that's 30 years old. I think the best course of action for making this actually work is just going to be leaving this as a tight fit and making sure not to push it in too far. So I've got some, I just use rubber grease because I'm out of normal grease on the inside of it. And hopefully, with any luck, this will just sort of press fit in there. That is working pretty damn flawlessly. Heaps and heaps of room for engagement. Now I'll lock it. Boom. Releases the lock. Lift your door handle. Boom. Boom. But that's going to take a long time to wear out. So I'm just going to blob a bit more grease on the top and sort of force feed it in there. And that should be a door lock fixed. And it was just a 7mm socket that I cut up. Shade the outside so it's only a couple mil thick, and that is the door lock fixed, hopefully forever. I'd call that a success. Lock. Nothing. Unlock. Perfect. Nothing. Unlock. Mint. That wasn't what I intended this video to be about, but apparently that's what it's about. That actually worked out flawlessly, and let's face it, who doesn't have a couple of 7mm sockets laying around they're not going to use? Shave down that outside so it just fits, which if it's going to be rough when you grind it down on a bench grinder, which actually worked out kind of perfect because it grips the outside of where that pin is, which is perfect. And then the inside, you just run the 7.5mm bit through it, which just takes off the lumps out of some of the lumps out of the socket. And it's got enough room in it for there to be a nice film of grease between that main pin and the new metal bush made out of a socket. And then you just cut that down to a couple mil thick, pack full of grease, push her in there. Don't push too far so it doesn't interfere with that latching mechanism, and it works mint. Like, yeah, it's a kind of a dodgy at-home solution, and you could probably do it by just finding a piece of metal tube that fits the right size. But if you don't want to go through that effort and you're trying to fix it and nothing's open, just this works. And there is no way in hell is that pin with the door getting opened even, let's say, 50 times a day, that pin is going to wear through tool steel. It's just not going to happen. Even if that runs dry on grease, there's enough tolerance in it, enough looseness, that it's not going to grab. Next step, do I put the Lambo door hinges back on? I was half planning to do that this weekend, and then I found out that all my latches are flogged out and destroyed from that one bushing. That's all it takes. And they're all disintegrating now. So, working out a way to fix them at home with that's laying around, I think that's a mint solution. Thank you guys for watching to the end. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this helped someone out there. I know this is a very common issue. If you guys got something from this video, even if you just liked my dodgy at-home DIY, let's make this work and not fuck again, whatever it is, if you enjoyed, leave a like. Really helps me out. Drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, even if you're just picking on me for being dodgy. It's all good, it all helps me in the end. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. It's so freaking close. So close, which is incredible. It's been a long road to get here, had a lot of setbacks, but it's coming close. And so that's that first big milestone I want to hit. So I'm pretty happy about that. It makes me excited to see people enjoying my content and getting something out of it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it greatly, and I'll see you on the next one.